Didn't George once say that he felt he was Tyrion?
Yes, yeah, definitely. I definitely would see that. Definitely would see that.
Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie, and they just announced this year's Hugo Award winners. And since some of my favorite sci-fi and fantasy stories were battling it out for awards, I thought it'd be really fun to do a video. Seriously, Game of Thrones and Doctor Who both went up for the same award. Isn't that cool? So first, I'll talk about the winners, and then I'll tell a few cool stories about the award ceremony. So here's the list of winners. Best Novel, Red Shirts by John Scalzi. I've actually read this, and it's totally awesome. I totally agree that he should have won. Best Novella, The Emperor's Soul by Brandon Sanderson. Best Novelette, The Girl Who Went Out for Sushi by Pat Cadigan. And Best Short Story, Mono No Aware by Ken Liu. Best Related Work, Writing Excuses, Season 7. Best Graphic Story, Saga Volume 1 by Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples. I've actually read this. You totally need to read this right now. It's amazing. Best Dramatic Presentation, Long Form. This is actually the Avengers screenplay. Joss Whedon won, and it's not for the movie, it's just for the actual writing screenplay. And I'm totally not surprised by this, just because Joss Whedon has been nominated for an Emmy before for his writing. Best Dramatic Presentation Short Form is actually the Game of Thrones episode Blackwater Bay. That was written by George R.R. Martin, so there's no surprise there. But this was actually the category that it went up against Doctor Who at. I'll talk more about that after I list the rest of the winners. Best Professional Artist, John Picacio. He actually illustrates a lot of John Scalzi's book. Remember, he won for Red Shirts, so you need to check out some of his stuff. It's amazing. He totally deserves this. Best Semi-Pro Zine, Clark's World. Best Fanzine, Sci-Fi Signal. I actually use that website to look for new recommendations on sci-fi and fantasy stories, so you should check it out. It's really cool. Best Fan Writer, Tansy Rayner Roberts. Best Fan Artist, Galen Dara. And the winner of the John W. Campbell Award for Best New Writer was actually Mur Lafferty for 1963, The Argument Against Louis Pasteur. So let me know what you think about all the winners this year. Which of their stories have you read, and which are you going to read after this? Basically, I try to look at this as a guide for stories that maybe I should be reading that I haven't read before, or authors that I really need to check out. The really cool thing about this Game of Thrones versus Doctor Who battle was that Doctor Who was actually nominated for 3 separate episodes. It was The Angels Take Manhattan, Asylum of the Daleks, and The Snowman. Remember, that was the Christmas special from last year. I'll be sure to post all these winners as well as all the people that got nominated on my Tumblr so you can look for all the books and stories that you need to check out. There was actually a really cool Nerdist podcast recently with George R.R. Martin. It was about an hour long. I'll post that to my Tumblr too. He talks a lot about Worldcon and the Hugo Awards in that. What George R.R. Martin said in that interview about Worldcon was really cool. He said that they've really tried to keep it really small, and they've held the Hugo Awards there even though other conventions like San Diego Comic-Con have gotten so much bigger. Just to give you an idea, he said Worldcon attendance is closer to 4,000 people, and San Diego Comic-Con last year was maybe 150,000 people. So even though there are bigger conventions, it's still a big tradition to have the Hugo Awards at Worldcon. And isn't it cool that George R.R. Martin still goes every year? If you really want to help me out, please like and share this video. And like I said, I'm posting that first Game of Thrones Season 4 character preview for Tyrion later today too. Be sure to let me know which characters you want to talk about first, and I'll try to add those people to the top of my list too. You can click here to get that video right now, and you can click here to get all my other Game of Thrones Season 4 videos from this year so far. Thanks so much for watching. High fives. Congrats to all the Hugo Award winners.